Welcome to Salam Media. I'm your host for this evening, Dhakir Dawood. I will be with you right through up until 9 o'clock. Yep, I will be hosting your sports show, your favorite sports show on a Friday evening. It's going to be a jam-packed show. We're going to be chatting to cyclists. We're going to be chatting to hockey administrators and coaches. But before we get to all of that, let's have a look at what has been going on in the world of sport this week. First up, we're going to be chatting a bit about the EPL. We've got a London Derby coming up, the first big game of the EPL, if you want to call it that, after Man City, Tottenham taking place last weekend. This weekend, we've got Arsenal taking on Chelsea. Arsenal were not victorious in the opening game, and they're going to be looking to bounce back. But will it be possible against such a strong Chelsea team? I mean, share your thoughts on social media with us. You can tag Salam Media on social media. That's Twitter and Facebook. Or you can even comment in the comment section below. Let's get the conversation going. Let's keep the conversation flowing. Let's hear what you have to say. Because, I mean, what would a good show be without your inputs? And for those of you that want to call in, old school, old-fashioned style, I mean, by all means, go ahead. The studio line is 010-880-2396. If you missed that, I'm going to repeat it for you one more time, and I hope that you've got a pen with you. 010-880-2396. That is the studio number. Contact us and tell us what you have to say and what's your thoughts on what's currently going down in the EPL. But first up, let's hear what Jurgen Klopp has to say about his season aspirations for Liverpool after losing out last season with that gap just getting too big and Liverpool not living up to everybody's expectations at the end of the season. A long season it was. They had time to bulk up the squad. Not much bulking up done as Jurgen Klopp decides that he's going to stick with his team that got him through the season, last season. But anyway, let's see what the coach had to say about this.
Just go for it. There are no guarantees out there, not at all, especially not against Burnley, because they can make your life really uncomfortable. They defend well, have really good footballers in the team. Sean is doing a brilliant job there, set them up for being not only annoying, but they can be annoying as well. Good set pieces, all this kind of stuff, a clear way of play. So that's what we prepare for, not for any kind of revenge or whatever. We really want to have a positive game. And that only works when you play really good.
I don't know if is that possible. So yeah, last year obviously City was. The gap was pretty big. The year before with us, the gap was pretty big. I'm not sure if it can get even more intense for all the rest. So we will see. Yeah, Chelsea obviously is not hiding their ambitions, and Man United isn't. City isn't. We don't want to hide our expectations or ambitions because we want to fight for everything, but whatever will happen in the season, we don't know now. But in this moment, yeah, it will be a massive fight. And I mentioned only these four, but it will not be only these four. Looks like Leicester made really good business again. Arsenal is trying, Tottenham is obviously trying really hard, and there are so many teams. West Ham played the best season for a long time last year. They didn't get worse over the summer, so it will be an interesting league again, very interesting. So let's see how it starts, and then we can talk about that, and then let's make the next step.
It's going to be a long season for Liverpool. It's going to be an interesting one as well. For this clash, they take on Burnley. This weekend, tomorrow for that matter. It will be the early kickoff of the afternoon. Andrew Robinson will be out for Liverpool as well as Curtis Jones. I mean, these are key players in the Liverpool lineup. They play an intricate role in the Liverpool team and getting Liverpool on the front foot and the go-ahead. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how Liverpool decide to shape up for this match. But talking about that, Burnley also missing key players. Kevin Long, who played an important role in the season last year, and Dale Stephens was also going to be out for the Burnley team. As it stands, it looks like Liverpool will be sticking to the team that won their opening fixture for them. Burnley, however, lost their opening fixture. So it's going to be interesting to see what Jurgen Klopp has up his sleeve and what the Liverpool lads will conjure up going into this fixture up against Burnley. I mean, I'm excited. EPL is back. It's going to be a jam-packed weekend of EPL. And how can we not talk about the London Derby if we're talking about the EPL? Arsenal have, however, gone down in their opening fixture to Brentford, losing 2-0 in the opener of the 2021-2022 EPL season. Many wouldn't have expected that after all the talk that's been made about this Arsenal team. Brentford coming up, newcomers in the Premier League, and they've been surprising many people, and I won't be surprised if they stay in this EPL for a lot longer than many have expected. But looking at this, Mikel Arteta, do you think he's the guy for the job? I mean, guys, let's be realistic. Losing your first game against the newcomers in the EPL, or could they have just been riding off the hype and the adrenaline of being back in the EPL? But earlier this week, Mikel Arteta had quite a lot to say in the Arsenal press conference. But this is a clip that I found interesting from Mikel Arteta, showing that they're here for the pressure and they can withstand the pressure. Take a listen to this.
If you don't feel pressure in football, in any elite sport, I think you pick the wrong profession. I think it's responsibility, it's not pressure. We have the responsibility to do our best under any circumstances. Unfortunately, now the circumstances are uncontrollable. The only thing that is going to happen is something that you don't expect, that's for sure. And then you have to try to adapt and do the best as you can. And that's what you have to ask yourself. The rest is about a result, and you know that you're going to be judged on that result. That doesn't mean you are doing a good or a bad job because you win or lose a football match.
Hey, Mikel Arteta, always coming out so spicy, very exciting. Always nice to hear what these young managers have to say and their way of addressing the media. I don't know, but for me, I find that they're much more open with the media, playing open cards, and it gives us that extra eye and insight on what it's like in the Arsenal camp. But I mean, look, it's going to be a difficult match for Arsenal. Closing off the weekend's play of EPL matches against a tough Chelsea opposition. Thomas Tuchel giving us his expectations on what we can expect from Arsenal this weekend. This is what he had to say earlier in their press conference.
So we should be absolutely prepared for the best Arsenal possible. They have qualities, they have a strong coach, they have a strong team, strong lineup, strong signings. So I think we should prepare for the best Arsenal possible, and at the same time do what we need to do, push the standards to the limit on this very Sunday. Let's see where our limit is, and look for an intense game, look for intensity, look for rhythm, and look for a confident game on and off the ball. This is what we're looking for, and anything else but a tough game would be a big surprise.
Look, one game in, Chelsea sitting comfortably in second position on the log. Arsenal, however, started the season out right on top of the log. That was before any minutes of football was played. And then things turned around very quickly. Arsenal now in 17th position, and will be looking not to fall too far behind the rest of the pack, as Jurgen Klopp mentioned earlier, that once that gap starts to widen, it's very difficult playing catch-up in this league. But I mean, looking at it and looking how these teams will be lining up this weekend, one needs to keep into mind that Arsenal have a massive injury list. I mean, the likes of Martin Odegaard is on the injury list, a player that was so interesting to watch, and many will be looking forward to see what he has to bring to this Arsenal team, but we're just going to have to be waiting a bit more longer. I mean, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Willian, these are all players that are doubtful for this weekend. And I mean, what is an Arsenal team without the likes of Willian, Lacazette, and Aubameyang? All key players and key goal scorers for these teams, also playing an intricate role in assisting the rest of the goals for this Arsenal side. So it'll be interesting to see how Mikel Arteta decides to line his team up for this weekend's match against Chelsea, who are high flyers. I mean, after their first game, they've definitely impressed, scoring 3 goals in their opener. So 3 goals, 3 points. What will this Chelsea team have for us against Arsenal this weekend? But looking at the doubtfuls and the injury concerns on Chelsea's side as well, I mean, Christian Pulisic had a brilliant season last season. He's just been ruled out. N'Golo Kante is doubtful for this weekend, as well as Loftus-Cheek. So these are all players that, I mean, many seen as the core of the Chelsea team come last year and come the seasons before that. So wait, let's see what is actually going to go down. But I mean, we can predict and we can talk as much as we want to, but it's going to come down to those 4 lines and the football on Sunday evening to see who's going to be taking this one. Will Arsenal be fighting their way up and climbing that ladder, or will Chelsea just be too strong and look to chase down Man United, who's sitting comfortably on top of the log with a goal difference of 4 points? Well, I mean, we could talk football all day. I love talking football. But for now, South Africa's Brad Binder, he recently won the Austrian MotoGP on Sunday. And this obviously came with a gamble, of course, where he decided to drive with smooth tires. I mean, when the rain began to fall and he decided to stick with his tires, unlike his rivals who put it in and changed their tires, Binder, however, opted to stick with the slick tires, and he skillfully held on to win the second ever MotoGP title. Quite impressive from the South African. This is what he had to say after his phenomenal, spectacular MotoGP victory.
To be honest, I was having the horrendous race before I decided to stay out and everyone else came in. The rear tire was like nothing I've had all week. So every time I'd try brake, it would just slide everywhere. I'd go for the throttle and I wouldn't go forward. So I was having a huge struggle out there. And yeah, when I saw it starting to rain, I closed up onto the front group. And you know, I was thinking there's 4 laps to go and I could see the guys are getting ready to come in because I saw Mark look behind him. And I couldn't decide, do I go, do I not? And then I just decided at the last moment when I saw the whole group pull into the pits that I had to try. And the first lap was good. And then the last 2 were something else. I've got around more or less okay, 2 laps to go. The last lap, the brakes went completely cold, and so did the tires. So I couldn't stop.
Hey, Ben Binder couldn't stop. Well, talking about the Binder brothers, his brother Darren also can't stop. Next year might see the first time ever that we'd have 2 South Africans in the MotoGP, for that matter, where Darren Binder, who is also looking to line up to get onto that MotoGP grid alongside his brother Brad. Darren had a test run in the Yamaha's R1 Superbike on Tuesday, and he had quite a successful outing with the SRT Yamaha team. Binder currently races in the Moto3 for the SRT team, but a MotoGP will soon become the first rider to do so since Jack Miller in 2015. The SRT MotoGP team will have two riders in 2022 after the markets leading up to the new season. It's going to be quite interesting, quite exciting for all of us to see 2 South Africans in the MotoGP. Can brother Darren Binder join up with Brad in the MotoGP and dominate? I mean, fly Mzansi's flag high, why don't you? Come on, South Africa. So then, we're going to end off with our beloved Springboks. They've won the World Cup for us. They've won the British and Irish Lions Tour that happens once every 12 years. They have beaten Argentina in the opener of the Rugby Championship. However, the Springboks are still being judged for playing boring rugby. I mean, come on. Let's be realistic out here. What would you choose? A boring rugby match with your team winning, or an exciting rugby match with your team losing? If you choose. This is what Andre Pollard had to say after the media's criticism and many people around the world criticizing the South Africans for playing quite boring rugby.
Yeah, so just on the criticism we've had about our style of play, it is what it is. Everybody's got their own way, what they believe is the right way to play rugby. For us, it's not about entertaining, it's about winning. Test match rugby is about winning. And at the moment, we're doing pretty well in that regard. So for now, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing. People can criticize us as much as they want. We believe in it, and that's the only thing that matters. Thanks.
Well, Andre coming out rather confidently there. I mean, it's going to be quite interesting. There's been also been quite a bit of talk around the rugby championships that will be taking place over this weekend. We've recently heard that the Australia and New Zealand match, the final one of the Bledisloe Cup, will be cancelled due to a COVID-19 outbreak in New Zealand. 11 people have tested positive in New Zealand, and this has brought about a hard lockdown in the land of the long land of the long cloud. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be quite interesting. South Africa do still take on Argentina tomorrow afternoon in a rugby championship match, and this is going to be an interesting one. I think that South Africa do have what it takes to beat Argentina for a second time, but I mean, can they bounce back? Can the Argentines bounce back? If you think they can do so, I mean, tell me in the comment section below why you think that the Argentines have exactly what it takes to bounce back against the Springboks, who are just so strong. Playing boring rugby, winning and beating every team that comes across them. It's all too easy for them, man. All too easy. Well, we're gonna leave it at that for now. We're going to let that thought stay in your mind, share your thoughts and what you think exactly will be going down this weekend in the world of sport. If there's anything you feel that you want to speak about, drop us a comment in the comment section below. Tag us on social media, and you can also call in to the studio if you missed out on that studio number. The studio number is 010-880-2396. Phone us, call in, tell us what you think is currently going on, what's happening in the world of sport, and what are your highlights and expectations of this weekend. But we're going to go for a quick break, and when we do come from the break, we're going to be chatting. We're going to be chatting to Muhammed. He's going to be telling us all about the Chelsea and the Arsenal London Derby. So stay tuned to Salam Media. We're going to be back right after this break.